Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I'm going to be talking about the very unusual topic today about clones. So my question is, can someone somewhere actually create a clone? I'm talking about an adult human that is an exact copy of another human. Is that possible? Now, I'm going to tell you right up front, I do not know. But I'm going to look at the topic today. I'm going to look at it in several different points of view, several different areas. I think you'll find this fascinating. First of all, Lindsey Williams said that the elite consider themselves to be fair and gentlemen. In other words, they consider it to be unsportsmanlike to hit the unsuspecting populace, to deceive us, or to kill us without some kind of warning that they are doing it, or that they're going to do it. For example, there are actually several television programs depicting the events of an airplane flying into the World Trade Center before it happened. Now, I've covered this in other programs a long time ago, and I don't want to dig into all the specifics, but trust me, it's there. So I went to the imdb.com database. Now, that stands for Internet Movie Database. You want to find a movie, you want to find out all about that movie, imdb.com is the place to go. It is the ultimate. So I went there and I searched under movies or movie titles containing the word clone. Now, what it brought up was a lot more than I was expecting. See, I was expecting to hear things like Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Clone High, The Clone, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, They Cloned Tyrone, or Surrogates. But what I found, would you like to take a guess, how many different TV programs or movies or movie titles that were found? The answer is something like 669 different movies or TV programs. Now, what's that saying? I believe it's saying that they are warning us. They are telling us. But they put it in terms of something always goes wrong with the movie. The clone whole deal with clone doesn't work. That keeps it science fiction. That gives them a disclaimer so that they can wiggle out of it. Let me read for you some of the movies, 2010. I'm not going to get into all the dates here. I'll just skip through a bunch of the titles of different TV programs and movies. Womb, Imposter, Clone, Surrogates, Multiplicity, Clone High, Cloned, The Recreator Chronicles, Clone High, Star Wars, The Cloned Wars, The Clone, 9/11 Lone Star. Now, they don't all have a clone in the very title, but that's within the TV series is what they're saying. The Clone, Lone Survivor, Alone, The Clones, Home Alone, Star Wars, Clone Wars, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Alone, Cloned, They Cloned Tyrone, Alone, Cyclone. It goes on and on. It goes on. 600 some odd titles, movies, TVs. So are they saying, I'm talking about Hollywood, are they saying that clones are real? I think that you'd have to say yes. I don't think when you got 600 different, here it is, 609 different titles of TV or movies concerning clones or with the word clone in it, or they're talking about clones. Now, that's my point today. Do you think clones are real? Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any inside information. I'd love to really know the truth about this and a whole bunch of other things too. I do not know. I'm going to make that plain. I do not know. However, there's enough evidence out there for us to raise an eyebrow and say, maybe. If clones are real, just a second, let's talk about it a second. If clones are real, if it is possible to make a clone of a person, not a body double, not someone who looks similar but is changed or made up or is wearing a mask or some kind of Hollywood makeup, but I'm talking about an actual, real flesh and blood copy, two people that have identical flesh, blood, bone, DNA, everything, exact copies. Same number of hairs on their head, same amount of blood in their veins, and if that's actually possible, How would they do it? Let's just talk about it a second. How could that be done? Do they grow another body, such as in the movie The Island, which is portrayed where people are cloned and they grow into this clone kind of a blank that they then make into a real person? Is that the way it's done? I don't know. Or do they scavenge body parts, kind of like in the movie Frankenstein, or they really do it high tech, and then stick them all together? Probably not. Do you remember the program that I did a couple of weeks ago called Med Beds? In that program, the expert that I had on said that they have actually had these med beds for like 80 years, and they come from our space brothers, I guess we're supposed to call them, the extraterrestrials, the UFOs. We call them demons. We know what they are, and they're demons, okay? Because God's angels do not need metal objects to cause them to fly through space and time. God's angels fly through space and time at the speed of thought. Anytime, anywhere they want to, they can be in the room, and you don't even know they're in the room. That's what I'm talking about. So if they need some kind of metal object to fly them around, they're a devil. In my opinion, they're a devil. And there are no good UFOs. There are no good extraterrestrials. They masquerade as being good. They masquerade as trying to help mankind, but understand the devil's at their heart. So anyway, if they've had these med beds for 80 years, and they say that they can correct anything in our bodies within 3 minutes, including changing our bodies so that we can live forever. Now, I'll have to tell you, I was thinking about this when I was doing the program. And I thought, hey, that'd be really nice, man, if I could have my dark hair back again, or if I could have my hair back again. There's a couple other things in my body that I'd like to have corrected. Wow. All of a sudden, I got a really big yawn, as in saying, absolutely not. You do not. It's what I got in the spirit. You do not get in a med bed. Okay. I didn't know it was such a big deal, Lord. And what he spoke to my heart was they change your DNA. In other words, literally, they change your DNA to make you a seed of the serpent. And consequently, you lose your salvation. Really? Okay. You got my attention on that one, Lord. So, yeah, as much as I'd like to have some things fixed, I'm not getting in a med bed. Now, the point is, if med beds are real, if they can fix and change anything in our bodies in 3 minutes, including change our bodies so that we can live forever. And by the way, in case you think that, oh, no, they can't do that. Did you know the Bible tells us that that's going to happen? Revelation 9:3. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, nor any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God on their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them. Okay, hang on. So these are locusts coming out of the center of the earth. All right, hang on, there's more. In other words, what I'm trying to say is we're coming into a world of supernatural things, of miracles, of things we've never seen before. This is all part of bringing us into the, quote, new world order. They've got to make it appear wonderful and good for people to accept it. But of course, we know where it's going, mark of the beast, and getting our heads cut off and stuff like that. We understand that it'll start off good, but it'll turn bad. Now, back to the scriptures. Which have not the seal of God on their foreheads, and was given to them that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days, here it is, shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. What? In those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. See, that's one of the reasons why I think that the tribulation, sometimes I think it's very close. Sometimes I think maybe even starts this year. But other times I think, no, it can't be. It can't be, because That's a picture of pretty much all of the earth has now gone into the medbed machines and been given a body that is eternal, that's not dying. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be killed. I mean, somebody cut your head off, obviously it kills you. But in other words, your body no longer ages. It no longer gets old. It no longer dies. It heals itself continually. And of course, originally, before Adam and Eve ate of the fruit, that was the way our body was supposed to work. Okay, so there's some merit to what they're saying here. Now, if med beds are real, if they've had them for 80 years, if they can correct anything in our body in 3 minutes, even giving us eternal bodies that don't die, that don't age, they just continue to live on, then we got to ask ourselves another question. So what if they can take a small sample of skin and generate it into a full body over a process of, I don't know how long it would take, 3 days, maybe a week, maybe a month, I don't know. But if anyone does have any info on this, please get it to me. askstan@prophecyclub.com. So if clones are impossible, then why do we have so many TV and movies about them? Why do I continually find references in many sources around the world referring to them as pass the potatoes, please? In other words, everybody knows they have clones. She's made of a clone. He's been turned into a clone. And I hear these in a lot of articles. For example, I recall in many of the articles from BenjaminFulford.net, he often mentions that this person has been cloned. So, in the past, when I read across that, I kind of raised an eyebrow and just keep on reading. I thought, I don't know if I accept that or not. And I still don't know if I accept it. But in theory, based upon the Bible, I do. But now, whether it really exists. So I thought, okay, let's just go to BenjaminFulford.net and let's actually do a search through all of these articles on the word clone. Wow, what did I find? Well, now I searched, I found an article telling exactly how they are made. Now, I don't know that the article is accurate, and you know that, and I don't know that either. So let me read the article. You're going to find this very interesting. October 24th, 2018, this is a letter to Benjamin. Hello, Benjamin. It's very straightforward to create a clone. All one needs is 2 cells from the target and 1 cell from the opposite sex. The nucleus is removed from one of the target cells and replaces the nucleus of the opposite sex. Now you have male and female cells to the being you want to create containing identical information. All that is needed then is an electrical charge, and the cells begin to reproduce. It's then inserted into a cow's womb. The growth hormone secreted from the pituitary gland of the cow is then used to accelerate the process. A duplicate can be made, listen, a duplicate can be made in as little as 48 hours. What? 48 hours? Grow a human in 48 hours? But that is what the movie The Island indicated. In as little as 48 hours, but the quicker, the more errors. So when the fetus begins to develop its own blood supply, it is immediately removed from the cow after its blood is drained from it with a literal laser precision. This is where the cattle, quote, mutilations originate. The womb will always be missing. Now, hang on just a second. I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I did a whole DVD talking about all these UFOs and cattle mutilations, and he's right. There's been not just 1 or 2, but many cows that they would find them dead. Now, the interesting part about it is the womb of the female cow was cut out with laser precision. Why would they remove the womb? Who wants the womb? But that's not all. There was also a hole that was made precisely as if someone could see into the cow, and it was like a needle went right to the very center of the heart of the cow, and then under high suction sucked all of the blood out of the cow. Why do they want the blood? Why do they want the womb of a cow? Well, obviously, it gives some credibility. Okay, I'll just say that. It gives some credibility to what this guy's saying. I also recall seeing an image of a cow. The cow was impaled on a telephone pole. And you look up and you say, okay, can cows fly? How did that cow get up to where it's impaled on the top of a telephone pole? I don't know. What is that, 75 feet up? I don't know. And the interesting part is, sure enough, the cow had all of the blood removed and the womb of the cow was removed. Okay, so can cows remove their womb and make a hole in the side of their body, sucking all of the blood out and jump up on top of a telephone pole? I've been doing this a long time. And just various bits of information all of a sudden start coming together, kind of like I'm doing this article on clones. So all of a sudden I start saying, I've been thinking this clone stuff is just garbage. It's just Hollywood. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's go on with the article. The fetus is then grown in a vat of liquid until the suitable age. A holographic camera will be used to take an image of the target's memories. In other words, the person that's a real person, it somehow makes an image of their memories. Don't ask me. This is just what they're saying, okay? An image of the target's memories, then this is imprinted into the clone's brain. So, now you have an identical copy of the target, complete with memories, but the mind of an infant. So, this is only suitable for use in controlled circumstances. In other words, the clone doesn't do so good in actual interviews with the press and stuff. He says the most famous error that he knows of was a public malfunction of President Carter. He says claiming at a press conference that he'd been attacked by a swamp rabbit. What? This is so disturbed the powers that they arranged a photo shoot to prove this, that had actually been the case, although they also claimed it was a joke. Other options are holograms, and it goes on to tell about how some people are actually using holograms. They're not really there. And of course, that's easy. If they can make a 2-hour full-length movie of, say, for example, robots that run around attacking each other and, all of that sort, and the space wars and stuff. If they can make that appear so real, of course, they can make a 5-minute interview with the press with a person talking that appears very, very real. So the holograms, yeah, or making someone appear to be there, yeah, we accept that. That's no big deal. But clones, can they create a clone? He goes on to say, I've done my own analysis on Putin. For those who think this man, talking about Putin, is too jolly for the old, serious Putin, he says people change. I'm going to skip down. Was a changed person after here it is. After a pyramid-shaped UFO hovered over the Kremlin for days. So then he puts parentheses, just search for, quote, pyramid over Moscow on YouTube. I thought, okay, I'm doing a research on this, so I'll search. So I went to YouTube, same thing you'd do, and I typed in pyramid over Moscow. And guess what I found? Not just one or two, but there's lots of videos up there, and you can tell these are not faked, okay? They're not photoshopped. They're real people really recording a triangle. Now, this is a 4-sided triangle, so it's not like a pyramid, but it's a pyramid shape. But it's a 4-sided triangle floating in the air, rotating around. It's not just always with the flat bottom down. Sometimes it's with the point down, rotating, and it's over Moscow. So what they're trying to say is that Putin may have been changed somehow, because he says people change, especially after a life-changing experience such as Putin's near-death experience during a car crash. Does that prove that there's clones out there? No. But it does start erasing some of the foolishness from thinking that there's a clone. There were some other videos. For example, one of them said, Pentagon says video released of pyramid-shaped UFOs is authentic. Okay, you can't throw that away when you got 53,000 views the first month. All right, then you go back to UFO Pyramid Moscow. It has 10,000 views. Here's another one. This is proof. This is proof that there are UFOs. This is proof that there are clones, because this comes to us from the world bastion of truth. That would be CNN. So if CNN says that there's UFOs or there's clones, that means they're real. And, I laugh about it, but maybe there's some truth to it. That's the point today. So this other YouTube video from CNN says, Pentagon confirms UFO is real, taken by the Navy pilot. And there's 1.2 million views in a month. Whoa. Okay, that gives it a little bit of credibility. So what is this mysterious triangle photographed in Australia? This one had 658,000 views, but it's 5 years old. So then I decided to search Fulford for the word clone, and I actually found about 36 different articles with hundreds of references where this Benjamin Fulford has been just talking about, pass the potatoes, please. Yeah, there's a clone. This guy's a clone. And again, I haven't exactly accepted all of this. I kind of read past it and kind of raise an eyebrow a little bit. However, the more I think about it, the more I'm getting credibility. Let me give you an example. It was 1995. Now, remember, Prophecy Club started in 1993. It was about 1994, 95. And I was in the office. And, of course, in those days, if the phone's going to get answered, it's going to be me answering it. So I answered the phone. And I had been playing some audio on the radio in Topeka. We were just on one Topeka radio station at the time, just started. And I'd been playing some stuff on the radio about UFOs. This guy called. He says, I'm not going to give you my name, but I will answer your questions. I've been listening to some of your programs on UFOs. He said, I used to be really high up in the government. And he said, I know some things about UFOs. I can't tell you anything, but if you ask me a question, I'll answer your question. I said, okay. Area 51. Yep, been all through it. I said, they got aliens there? He said, yep, some dead, some alive. I said, they got anti-gravity flying devices? He said, yep, some our government has made and some from other planets, other dimensions. So then he says, see, you people on the surface don't know anything unless it's at least 25 years old. He said, all of the underground facilities have unlimited funding. They get and recruit the best minds on the planet. And he said at this time, again, this is 1994 or 5, and he said this time they're at least 25 years ahead of any technology on the surface. I said, okay, well, what's some old technology to the facilities underground that we haven't heard of on the surface? He says, okay, successful human head transplants. All right, now hang on. Let's just pause the conversation for a second. What would that do if there's a possibility to where a person could go in and have a successful head transplant? They wake up the next morning and their body's 20 years old. Really? Wouldn't that be nice? But there's more. And I says, okay, what's the deepest, darkest secret they have? What's the thing that Area 51 is working on that they don't want anyone to know more than anything else? And he said they're working on creation. Well, you see, that's what the Bible says. Revelation 13:14. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. Isn't that what you call a clone? That they should make an image to the beast? Wouldn't we call that a clone? An image of the beast? Okay, so since we know that the beast is a flesh and blood person that is currently falling endlessly and helplessly in the bottomless pit, but he ascends out of the bottomless pit. He's the guy that kills the two witnesses, and they overcame the two witnesses, and their dead bodies lied in the street for 3.5 days. Okay, so but what overcame them was, and he that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit overcame the two witnesses. Now let's go to the next verse. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many do not worship the image of the beast should be killed. They're talking about a clone. They're talking about a clone. So The beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them, and shall kill them, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city for 3.5 days. Okay, so isn't that really saying that cloning is possible? Isn't that really what it's saying? Then let's jump to another verse. Let's jump to Joel 2, verse 7, and they shall run like mighty men. They shall climb upon the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his own ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Now, my guess is that this is probably super soldiers, which are clones, okay? Neither shall one thrust another, and they shall walk every one in his path. In other words, they do as they are told to do. And when they fall on a sword, they shall not be wounded. Now, that either means they have some kind of coating that the sword won't penetrate, which I don't think is the case, or they fall on a sword, they pull the sword out, and they have an eternal body, and they instantly heal up. Instant healing. Why, that would be just like we see in Wolverine. See how TV is really telling us, if we're listening. Then we jump to Revelation 9, verse 6. In those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them, like we talked about earlier. Is that possible? Well, let's go to Genesis 6. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, all which they chose. Now, I don't know what the sons of God are, but it's insinuating they're not human. So these non-humans came down and mated with the humans. Then we jump to verse 4. And there were giants in the earth in those days, and when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which are of old, men of renown. But if you look at word up, men which were of old, you look up that word old, and it means eternal. Meaning, when the sons of God mated with the daughters of men, their offspring were giants that did not die. So, is cloning possible? 2 Samuel 21:20, and there was yet a battle in Gath. There was a man of great stature that had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in number. So can we say that cloning is real? Well, I mean, I can't prove it. I can't prove it to you. But I think there's enough evidence to say, yeah, okay, maybe, just maybe we shouldn't just write this whole cloning deal off. And okay, in other words, like Benjamin Fulford says the Pope is cloned. I can't prove that. You remember when Moses went in and threw down his rod before Pharaoh and it became a serpent? But then the Pharaoh called the wise men and sorcerers and magicians of Egypt. They did it too. Then we jump to Revelation 16. I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. So obviously we're talking about the last days as a time of great miracles. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth into the kings of the earth and to the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty, meaning Armageddon. So spirits of devils work miracles. Could it be that part of those miracles are advanced technology like med beds and clones? I think at this point, I don't think we can throw it away. I'm not ready to accept it yet. I'm not ready to believe that a lot of these public figures are clones. That still just seems a little far-fetched for me. But at the same time, I can't say it's not possible. This is the best deal we've ever offered at the Prophecy Club. You get 10 How Pre-Trib 1, 10 Tribulation Secrets in Daniel, 10 Miss the Mark, 5 God's Warning to America, 5 Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, 40 books, gift of $100 at prophecyclub.com. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com is owned by a prophecy student who reads his King James Bible and supports Prophecy Club. Call CornerstoneAssetMetals.com for gold, silver, palladium, rhodium bars, or coins. They can help you roll over your IRA, 401k, so tell CornerstoneAssetMetals.com Prophecy Club sent you. Click like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend.